Hello and welcome to the Meta Chasers. This week I am being joined by Adam Camilleri, the man, the myth, the legend, and of course Sanguinius. Not alive Sanguinius. He's kind
Yeah, unalive Sanguinius.
of unalive
Yeah,
Sanguinius.
just as Paul likes him.
Of course,
I got a bit of hate blur coming off on that.
You do. This is your weekly hype show for all things competitive 40K for the weekend coming up, and we have really good, exciting team event that has several team events going on at the same time, actually. ATC, which is, I do need to say, I actually really need to go to ATC sometime because I have never been, and the stud team will be making the trip down. Obviously not this year, but we're going to be doing it sometime soon because I'm excited to go to that one. It seems to be a great event, and we're going to talk about it. Both of them. Well, two of them.
Indeed. We have the American Team Championship, 5-player and 8-player expose. So we're pretty much going to be covering that in absolute rock solid depth for your viewing pleasure. And then, of course, we've got a bit of Fuego to come up. Now, the ATC is a very hallowed, one of those traditional, very hallowed events. It is one of the, keystone events for the American tournament calendar season, and hopefully sooner or later the rest of the world will be involved as well, which is going to be very, very exciting. I wonder how the Americans would feel, with say let's just say, theoretically Team Ignite or one of the big European clubs, sends over a superstar team, and all of a sudden we get a bit of an arms race going over there. That'd be nice.
Oh yeah.
The Americans are like, not on our turf. You don't come here. Take our take our stuff. We come take your stuff. Because that would be a very fun thing to have happen. But jumping straight into the goodness, mate, what's up first?
First up, we have the American Team Championship 8-player event, which we have Paul participating in with his team. So we obviously got to cover that one. Since he's not here, it's a lot easier for us to cover it, right? Because it's not nepotism when he's not on the show.
We do have a anti-nepotism shtick that we like to adhere to. But when he's not here, we get to talk about him. So
yeah, and we're going to talk about him a lot. But
indeed,
this is 160 players in 20 teams of 8. So again, no codex can be repeated anymore on one team of 8. So Space Marines, only one.
We'll see. Yeah, only one Space Marine per pack. And it's going to be interesting to see how deep this goes, how close to the 20 mark, certain factions get. Because unlike in previous months of this year, I would say we're getting close to a little bit of a stratified top bracket for the first time in a while.
It is actually really, it's getting there too, which is ironic that it's happening so close to WTC. And obviously the Art of War team is here as well, which...
Yes, well, they're taking an interesting team. So Art of War's doing a bit of an expansion at the moment. Of course, they're hallowed as one of the strongest clubs or teams in the United States, if not the world. And they're going through a little bit of an expansion period. So they've got some new faces and new names representing them this year. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they do with a brand new shtick. So we'll see how they go.
Of course.
And who knows, we might have their round 1 pairing already ready to go and be talking about what they're going to be doing or trying to do and what should be done against them with that lineup.
We'll tell you how to go.
Give us that faction breakdown.
Of course. So in this 160 players, 20 teams of 8, 5-round event, we have the Imperial Super faction. There are 1 Sister of Battle, Chad, absolute Chad, 5 Custodes, an Admech. Wait, is Ziegler there?
Ziegler is not there.
Huh. Okay, interesting. 8 Astro Militarum. Here it is, everybody. This is what you've been waiting for. 19 Imperial Knights. That means 1 team out of the entire event did not take Imperial Knights. Guess whose team it is?
Yes. Actually, I'll go have a look and see which team didn't take it.
I know who it is. But no,
oh, really?
No, yeah, I looked because I was curious when I saw that. Anyway, going on, you can look that up then. Space Marines are 7 Adeptus Astartes, 1 Dark Angel, 1 Space Wolf, 7 Blood Angels, and 1 Death Watch. That means they're not quite at the 20 mark. They're at 17, which is only 3 teams not taking an Astartes faction. That's a little surprising. In teams of 8, but good choice because there are a lot of good armies out there as it is right now. Anyway, Chaos are 6 Chaos Space Marines, 9 T-Suns, 18 Death Guard, only 2 not taking Death Guard. 2 not taking Death Guard, shame on you. Why would you take them? I feel like they're an auto take, but you don't have the models, obviously, or a Death Guard player. 5 World Leaders, 4 Emperor's Children, 8 Demons, 14 Chaos Knights. They're not quite as popular as Imperial Knights, but still very well represented.
Well, all the Chaos Knight players are just struggling to get their, 5 big knights together. Why have they ever needed 5 big knights before?
It's been a long time since they've even needed 1.
I would say never.
Yeah,
They
that's fair.
never before have you wanted to field
But
more than
no, they
one.
wanted one when they came out because it was cool, and then they realized, oh, this actually isn't as worthwhile as
No.
bringing 3 more dogs or whatever. Xenos, there's 11 Necrons, 6 Orcs, 4 Tau, and 3 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 7 Tyranids and 5 Gene Stealer Call. Eldari, there's 3 Drukhari and 6 Eldari. Meaning the faction podium is Imperial Knights, topping off the team event with 19. Again, only one team not taking them. Death Guard at 18, with 2 teams not taking them. Total Astartes technically at 17, so only 3 teams not taking any flavor of Astartes. But I'm sure they have a bunch of power armor in the Chaos there somewhere.
Yeah.
And then Chaos Knights a little bit further behind them with 14, but still highly represented for the high toughness stat check armies. What do you think of the breakdown of this?
Really good. I like what you said about the total Astartes, because there is something to be said for the fact that if you have players who just play power armor armies, you actually have better options than actually taking Astartes if you wanted to play in the team's environment. Whereas, you could take Thousand Suns, World Eaters, Empress. In fact, all the cult legions are takeable in an 8-pack. Absolutely are.
Yes, absolutely.
But if you decided and you had players for, World Eaters, Death Guard, Empress Children, and T Suns, and then you took in Astartes as well, you have 5 like MEQ, which is called marine equivalents. And then all of a sudden you're leaving yourself exposed to your opponent skewing just like damage 2. I just have like 622 spam profiles,
which there's a lot of.
Huge amount in the game at the moment. And then there's a bunch of armies that can tilt and skew into marine killing abilities. I've been a huge proponent of saying like Eldari needs to skew straight into killing marines, because you're already taking fire dragons, so you already kind of got the knights covered. But warp spiders and things like that do nothing into the marine matchups. Because the whole point of them is to just yeet yourself 24 inches and clear an objective, and they won't clear diddly squat in a marine matchup unless it's like poxwalkers or whatever. But things like Wind Riders, things like the extra Banshee units absolutely smash down marine equivalents. So, getting a few more of those in there is something that you could be doing. In addition to, things like Votan, things like Guards skewing more into their plasma rather than their melter, while still, you got Lehman Russes and you've got Rogel Dawns. You don't need any more than that for your anti-tank, and plasma is perfectly serviceable as anti-tank as well with lethals and etc. So you got a lot of armies that can really tilt into killing marines. So do you stack your 8-pack with marine equivalents? And I think most people are saying no. You don't go beyond the 3 to 4 of them, because as soon as you go into the 5 and theoretically the 6th, if you want to take Chaos Space Marines as well as the cult legions and the vanilla Astartes or the sort of loyalists, all of a sudden you are sitting in a pretty unique bracket where some very good guns can make your life very painful.
Well, that's actually the big thing with it, right? Because talking about skewing that hard into one type of list, it's the same reason that you're not going to see a lot of stat check armies fill out a team. Like 2 knights at most a lot of the time. If you start going higher than that, because there are a lot of knights in the meta right now specifically, you're just giving them more targets for those lists.
Correct. And I'm of the opinion, I'm actually a proponent of 1 knight. I like 1 knight in your 8-pack. I don't actually like going to the second. If you were to go to the second knight, I'd actually much more advocate taking a thick demon list than taking your second knight, or taking something that is pseudo knights but has some different jank or some different abilities. Because if you're just going to play big stompies, there is so many lineups you can go into where cool. We took 2 big knights, so one of these guys has to be a defender early on in the pairings process to guarantee one of our boys gets a table. And if your opponent has like 4 skewed anti-knight lists, that guy can never go up. That's sick. Our plan is neutered already.
That's actually a really good way to think about it too, because I think a lot of people, and we've talked about this on this podcast, and I'm sure we've talked about other shows before too, that a lot of the time you want to have good pairings with your list. Like you want to have 2 of the same kind of thing to be able to pair into if you want to be attackers. But I think knights are right now especially an exception to that, because of how heavy anti-knight meta is right now, and how just naturally a lot of these armies are going to have a lot of answers to knights. And if you have 2 of them, one of them is going to get a bad matchup, and a lot of
and correct. And the reason I say demons over the second knight is because demons can scrap a little better than knights can into a bad matchup. They'll get a bit more of a better scoring floor rather than the optimum scoring ceiling.
Exactly.
But anyway, I have two teams to break down. Naturally, one of them will be Paul's. But the first up, we do have to look at Art of War, who heralded. You see Art of War on a team name in a team's event, you want to have a look at what they're doing. I haven't broken down the armies in totality because that's a lot of work for an 8-player teams.
That's
But
fair.
I have written down the faction and detachment, and with how the game is at the moment, as soon as you said the detachment, like 80% of what they're doing.
Yeah.
So we have Imperial Knights, Noble Lance. Yeah, cool. Canis Rex, he's going to be in there. Probably a Knight Atropos with Uppy Downy, some other good stuff. We have an Astra Militarum Combined Arms, say no more. An Eldari Warhost. Now, that is Jack Harpster, who came second at a GT last weekend with, I believe, a similar list. And I call this the funny buggers Wave Serpent archetype, because essentially you're trying to, you got 10 Fire Dragons and Fuegan, and then maybe 10 Dark Reapers and an Autark, trying to go in and out of Wave Serpents, draw long lines of sight, trying to get multiple activations out of these quite expensive units. Then we have a Thousand Sons of Grand Coven, of course, Magnus and Co. Vortex Beast, you know what it does. Death Guard, Virulent Vectorum, it's crazy good, auto take, why would you do it? Although the debate over Virulent Vectorum and Mortarian's Anvil is starting to heat up. And in teams, I'd actually probably be more likely to go Mortarian's Anvil, depending on the rest of my 8-pack. But it would start at Mortarian's Anvil, and then I'd have to see what the rest of the pack is, and then maybe they tilt back to Vectorum. Adeptus Studies, Ultramarines, Gladius, just a good all-rounder, nothing wrong there. Then they have Creations of Bile for Chaos Space Marines. Now, this is an interesting take in the meta at the moment, because that is a melee army that can't fight knights very well, especially things like Lords of Dread with the -1 damage. So, cool. Two units of Possessed can go in and not kill a big knight is a bit yikes. Right. But the Chosen are looking a lot better in that list, because they Strength 5 feels a lot better into Little Knights. They can go and slam 3. They can slam as many Knights as they can charge with that unit of Lord and or Fabi plus 10 Chosen. And then we have a Genestealer Cult's Hosts of Ascension to wrap out the 8-pack, mate. Now, what do your eagle eyes see when you look at this one?
Well, the Creations of Bile, like you pointed out, is actually a little bit different. I do like it, though, because I think that's actually still one of the better ways that used to be able to play like World Leaders used to play. And I think that aggression is really important right now, because a lot of people in the list they're bringing are not actually ready for that kind of aggression and what it's capable of killing. And it still threatens knights.
Absolutely does. Especially, funnily enough, it doesn't threaten knights by running them down and killing them. It threatens knights by the OC game. Cool. I'm just gonna windmill slam Possessed all over the board, and you're gonna have to dig me out to try and get your primary game going, because it's ostensibly giving you the look of a horde army.
Yeah, exactly. Which the Genestealer Cult list is more of a horde army.
Will tandem with. So you have a shooting horde army and essentially a melee horde army. If you look at those two together, because of course they're spamming toughness 6/3 when profiles. So they have a durability skew that's built in that hits a couple of different breakpoints.
Yeah, exactly.
I do see this as a great little they've only really got 3 skews, and then the rest are kind of all comers. So Astra Militarum, Eldari, T-Sons, and Death Guard and Adeptus Astartes. They don't really care. They've got great matrices into the meta, with only some fringe exceptions giving them, hard reds. So the Imperial Knights, of course, you just have one knight that needs to dodge one bad matchup. If your opponent, come to your second or third put up, if they've got, if they only have one of their anti-knight lists left, bang, the knights go up. Imperial Knights, surprisingly, don't hate a lot of the boards. They can still function on heavy boards, but they prefer a medium or a light, of course. The Astra Militarum and the Thousand Sons need a little bit of protection in the meta at the moment with what we're seeing here and there, but they're usually really good for everything. The Eldari are going to be good for everything. Death Guard are good for everything. In fact, what is Death Guard's reds? What actually bullies Death Guard?
I could, speaking from experience, Horde Genestealer Cult.
That's it, right? That's it. So, Death Guard to me, I see as a perfect put up in the meta at the moment, a perfect first put up, where you just well, cool. There is a couple armies that will beat me, but now they have to go through the fact that will they beat me on my table pick, with me having perfect knowledge of the matchup on when I pick my table and the mission, etc., etc. So, I see Death Guard as being just a fantastic first put up in an 8-pack at the moment.
Yeah.
And what's it going to cost your opponent's team to do it? Because let's say they use 2 of their best players and 2 of their strongest lists to try and pin the Death Guard, and Death Guard just decide to sit there for an 8-point loss.
Yeah, honestly, that's actually the big thing with Death Guard right now, because they are just so consistent in the meta right now. Do you waste your really good list into that one and then hope that they actually do well into it, where it can be swingy with the 5-up involved? You never know. Or do you just, okay, fine, take a small win, or
Yep.
whatever, we're expecting this anyway, and now we don't have to worry about Death Guard anymore.
Exactly right. We just try and neutralize them and take them out of the pool and try and put something that's going to 10-10 them from our bracket, and then try and use our big heavy hitters to try and get wins elsewhere. But yeah, great 8-pack from Art as you'd come to expect. They got a nice distribution of SKUs, as in like at one extreme they've got the Imperial Knights, the other extreme they've got the Genestealer Cults. I think GSC, if after you get outside the best armies in the game, Death Guard, T-Sun, best armies in teams in the game, Death Guard, T-Suns, your Astartes of choice, etc., etc. I think personally, if you have the player, GSC is a top four teams army in the game. It's one of the best.
It has a lot of options with it too, and the meta, the way it is right now, putting into a team with one knight and having another horde army or something like that, it can help pairings a lot. There's a few things like Jesus are called the pure horde has some hard red, so it needs to be protected a little bit. But most of the time, people aren't worried about protecting or like going after it. They're worried about protecting against it.
Yep. Well, sorry, the lag on my end.
Oh, I still hear you. You're good.
No, but in saying that, of the armies I reel off as in the top bracket, I mean, I think the best team's army in the game right now is Thousand Suns, and Thousand Suns needs a pilot, but not to the same extent that GSC does. GSC needs a master to, you will not take GSC unless you have that player to take GSC. Whereas T-Suns, like I could get a top tier player, make them play 20 reps on T-Suns, and I'd be very confident in them.
For sure.
All right, moving on down, we have the Wrong Way Kids. This is Paul Murphy's team and his bunch of miscreants, and their 8-pack reads as thus. We have a Chaos Knights, Lords of Dread, a World Eaters, Gore freaking Track Onslaught. Yes, boys.
Wow.
That is correct. That is the right thing to do. So if you don't know about that one, that's the Berserkers in boxes list.
Awesome.
Berserkers in transports. Once again, Death Guard, Virulent Vectorum. They have a Genestealer Cult list as well, which is by a Satanic Brood Surge. And I'm interested to know your thoughts on that in 8-pack at the moment. We have Blood Angels Liberator Assault Group. I don't know who that is. Who's that? Never heard of that guy. We have a Tyranid Subterranean Assault, Custodes Lions of the Emperor, and Imperial Knights Noble Lance. Take it away.
I actually like this 8-pack a lot.
I like it a lot.
I love the Gore track. I love the Gore track. I like seeing it there. Chaos Knights, that's no surprise there. They did go with the double knights, so they have the Imperial and the Chaos Knights. And the Tyranids, I'm actually going to look at the list right now because I've found the Subterranean Assault does really well with monsters. I'm just seeing.
Well, I was actually about to pull it up as well because that one needs context. You can't really evaluate it until you know.
Trigon, Horror-Specs, Ravagers, Screamer Killer, Tyrant Effect. Yes, that's another night list. That's another night list.
Correct.
Perfect.
He's playing Crusher Stampede out of a hole
instead
of walking across the
table. Well done.
Well, they have gone very thick. They got the Custodes as well.
Yep.
So they got Custodes, double knights, thick Tyranids. I mean, I know Paul as well. I've heard about his list. He's got a couple of 10-mans and some and Sangard. So they're hitting, and then of course Death Guard is very thick also. So they're hitting a very toughness skew across their 8-pack, which will give them a lot of reliability, I believe. And I actually quite like that skew. If you're going to take double knights, well, if we're going to take double knights, we might as well take 4. We might as well, take the Custodes, take the thick Tyranids, and have half our armies skewed towards that, so that if our Chaos Knights or Imperial Knights do, find themselves into awkward matchups, well, we've got 2 pseudo other knight lists that can pick up the slack and try and even it out.
Yeah. Dorian, Witch Ravagers, both. He's got 3 of the regular and 1 of the hyper adapted, so a lot. The Witch Ravagers, yes.
How do you feel about the new Raveners?
I love them. They're just too expensive.
Yeah. I feel like it as well. And when you take them, do you max them out? Like, do you take the full size squad, or are you taking them in squads?
I use them in Final Day, and in Final Day I just take the hyper adapted because they fit perfectly into that. Still a little expensive, but at least they give me all the tools that I want that kind of unit to bring me. So I like them in there. I don't bring the regular Ravagers because they do the same thing they used to. They hit a little bit harder, but I have other things that do that. And the Uppy Downy is nice, but it's unnecessary when I have Uppy Downy in the list. It's the hyper adapted because of the synapse. They give me some of my tricks. They unlock my +1 to wound, +1 to hit strategy for my entire army when something kills it. So it gives me a lot more play in there. In terms of actually in mid list, they're just too expensive. They're a little bit too expensive.
Yep, agreed.
Now, I love them. They're good. They're just a little too expensive.
So for the full expose, we need to tell you guys that the two teams we just unpacked are going head to head in round 1. The first round pairings are already up, and it's Art of War versus Wrong Way Kids round 1. All right, you are going to represent the Wrong Way Kids. I'm going to represent Art of War.
Okay.
We have all right. We're going to roll for who has to put who gets to pair first.
Oh,
I got a 6, so I won because I rolled the dice. And as Art of War, I put up Death Guard. You are representing the Wrong Way Kids. What are you offering me to defend into Death Guard? Sorry, attack into Death Guard out of this 8-pack.
So I have to look. This is where that discussion came in. Like, do we put up just a 10-10 list, or are we trying to get a bigger win and hope for the best out of it? Ironically, Wrong Way Kids do have a couple lists that can actually do well into them.
Yep.
So this is me speaking from experience because I know Subterranean Assault can actually do really well into them. It can. I'm not saying it will, but it can.
I'm thinking you double hive. I'm thinking you double hive mind them.
You think so?
GSC and NIDS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have to look at the Death Guard list to be sure, but the Biosanctum does have a game into it if it's played. Again, we need a GSC player that knows what they're doing because otherwise they will get run over.
You assume competence.
Assuming competence, then absolutely, I think the GSC list can go into that for sure.
Because even if the GSC list is in a bad matchup, that is a Brood Surge plays a lot on the defensive very well by dint of you just get your aberrants into the staging positions and sit, and then make it their problem. Now, I will say
he's
one
got
thing.
big bikes too. Oh yeah, he's got that. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Put that in there.
Sorry, I knew that. I thought you'd had a look.
No, I was looking at it now. Like,
yeah, big bikes. Jail the Death Guard with the bikes. Get the aberrants and whatever. I can't remember if he had pure strains in there.
With bile. He has 5 men, but he has big metamorph squads with biles. Why can't I think of words right now? Holy crap! Biophages is. Anyway, yeah, he's got the biophages with 10 men, so he can clean them up. Yep, I'd put that in there for sure.
Yep, and the aberrants are -1 to wound, which is nice against the Death Shroud and things like that. So Death Shroud only wounding him on 3s instead of 2s, which is quite good. Because they're T6, right? T6 -1 to wound.
T6, yeah.
Or they're T6, yeah.
T6
so they'll come in with
if you're over there. Toughness.
Yeah, exactly right. Which they will be. They're strength 8 with lance, so it neutralizes the lance. They'll come in wound on 3s, and then you'll have a feel no pain against the 2 damage, which is quite good at tilting those. In fact, the aberrants might just win against Death Shroud, which would be huge.
I mean, even they don't
absolutely
like you kill the abominate, do 2d3 mortal wounds to you, and then stand back up.
Pop a dude. Pop a dude. Come back up. Yep, Norris, smack him again. Yeah, so I quite like that. That was my first instinct, was the Tyranids and the Death Guard. The Tyranids and the Gene Stealers, because both of them will keep the Death Guard contained via dint of threat range. But then you're the Wrong Way Kids. What's your first defender here?
First defender for us, is it Death Guard as well?
I think it is, because I don't think they can put up the Knights first.
I know they definitely can't. I don't think Custodes is the one to put up. I think it's Death Guard.
I think it's either Death Guard or the Blood Angels.
I don't like the Blood Angels as a defender.
I don't like the Blood Angels, but that would just depend on table pick. If they look over at their opponent and be like, well, table pick will help me out a lot. If they try and attack me with the Guard or the Astartes or the Creations of Bile. And I quite like all of those.
I'd still try to defend with the Death Guard first, try to pull out a worse matchup for them, so I can like for other armies. Because again, the Death Guard is so solid in it that they'll take anything. You're putting the onus on your opponents at that point to say you decide what you want to do in this game, and our Death Guard player will just make it happen.
So now, in response to that, Art of War, I'm the Art of War player. I will offer probably not the Guard, but I definitely offer the Eldari, and either. I wouldn't offer the T-Sons. The T-Sons got better matchups into the pack, and they need to stay there for the night matchups. But definitely want to offer the Eldari, and it's either I'm offering the Creations of Bile or I'm offering the Yeptis Astartes. How would you go as Death Guard defending against Hosts of Ascension as well?
Against Hosts of Ascension? Ooh.
Not great, yeah?
No, not great. They would not want that.
Yeah. So it's the GSC and one of the other two I mentioned. So yeah, now that would be what I would have happen there.
It would probably be whatever is not the GSC, to be honest.
Yeah, correct. And you're not taking the GSC.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. The GSC is pinning you into something else.
Yeah.
And that may very well be Jack Harpster on his Eldari, which would be a bit of an oof. Because if he can get a blowout on you, that's a huge issue.
Which it can happen too. But the other thing is, are there other lists here that want to fight the Horde GSC? Not
really.
particularly, no.
Yeah.
Actually, the World Leaders wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, the World Leaders is the only one, but that's hard to engineer.
Yeah,
it's very hard to engineer unless they defend with the GSC, which they have no reason to in this lineup, because there's very little Horde clear in the Wrong Way Kids. So I'm of the opinion they need to almost bust somebody into the GSC in order to just get it out of the pack and have that person just sit and not get blown out. The worst thing that could happen,
you know what,
is
I think you save the Blood Angels and the World Leaders for them. I think those two are the answers. Yeah.
Correct. So that they can't defend with the GSC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what you have to do.
By the way, Paul, we're giving you all the strategy right now. All the strategy right now.
Oh, I want the upset. I play and represent Art of War, and I want the Wrong Way Kids to get up here. Barricade for our boy. All right, time to pick us some winners, Maduda, and of course Paul is backing himself and picking Blood Angels for this one because he's not here. He has to. That's right. That's right. You can pick first here, mate.
I mean, I have to. I'm doing GSC, man.
GSC. Yeah. The GSC player on Art of War is Tucker, who beat...
he's the one who beat Jack.
He beat Jack last weekend at a Florida GT, so where Jack came second.
Now,
so
that said, GSC is a very good matchup into Eldari. Like, very good.
Oh, huge. Massively huge. And I believe it was only like a 6-point win as well.
Yeah. So like, good on Jack for keeping it close.
Absolutely. I'm going to go with the numbers and go Imperial Knights.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I assume somebody somewhere in these 20 teams is just going to have an Imperial Knight list that just flat track bullies his way through this meta.
Of course.
All right, mate. On to the next one, which is the ATC 5-player team event. 265 players in 53 teams of 5 over 6 rounds. What is that breakdown?
Breakdown for this one is the Kurusu faction. There are 8 Sisters of Battle. Wow. 10 Custodes, 2 Admech, 13 Astra Militarum, 2 Grey Knights, 31 Imperial Knights, which is just over half. So not even that many, to be fair. And 5 men. That's interesting. Space Marines, there's 8 attempts to Astartes, 6 Dark Angels, 4 Space Wolves, 12 Blood Angels, and 2 Black Templar. Chaos, there's 7 Chaos Space Marines, 11 T-Suns, 27 Death Guard, 13 World Leaders, 6 Emperor's Children, 12 Demons, and 19 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there's 13 Necrons, 7 Orcs, 10 Tau, 11 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 11 Tyranids, 3 Gene Stealer Cults. Then Eldari, there's 6 Drukhari, and 11 Eldari, meaning the faction podium is technically total Astartes, topping off at 32. Again, just a little bit over the halfway mark, not that high in there. 31 Imperial Knights, 27 Death Guard, which is just basically as half the way you can get, but
basically on the money.
Basically on the money. Chaos Knights at 19, and then Necrons at Astra Militarum after a large drop at 13.
Yeah. Yep.
The breakdown of the 5-mans is very different than the 8-man. Very
correct. Some of the same, of course, total Astartes is always going to be there.
Same like numbers in terms of the actual podium spot, but the numbers,
correct.
The numbers are very different. Yeah.
Yeah, percentile is very, very different for this breakdown. I did want to give a shout out at this point. You feel free to hit the slide, then hit next slide and hit back. Okay. But I'm going to start doing this for best team name. We're going to give a little award. Best team name, guys, at this event is I Fake Every Phantasm.
Yes.
Legends, absolute legends.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant.
They're the ones that are going to win, or podium at the very least.
They have to. They have to. With a name that good, how can they not? Also,
here's the hand.
Shout out, Hand of Destiny. Here we go. Destiny. Shout out in the chat to the gentleman named Paul who quoted the Clerks animated series. Well done to you. You are an absolute man of culture, and we appreciate you very much. This breakdown is very interesting. Same numbers for Eldari and Tyranids. Same numbers for Votan, Eldari, and Tyranids. Lots of 11s and 1,000 signs. Demons sitting at 12 is about where I expect them at the moment, about 1/3 of the teams, or about a quarter. Custodies on the lower side, but Sisters of Battle way up in the 5-mans, the 5-pack over the 8-pack, which is very interesting because in 8-player teams, I rate Sisters very highly as your pseudo Marines, not Marines. So they play like Marines with a bunch of different jank, but aren't exposed to the same, this is just the profile that domes you as other Adeptus Societies.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I feel like actually in the 5-mans, they might actually be a little bit better. Because you can force them into a matchup that is really good for them. Because a lot of armies that are going to be showing up at a 5-man. Well, they're not gonna be ready for sisters. Like, and they're good into knights. They're good into the hull span. They are.
They're extremely good into knights. And I believe they're better than many other Astartes builds into things like Death Guard as well. They
Yeah.
have just such a prevalent of anti-Astartes abilities. And then things like their new build with all the sacrosancts that keep coming back in their Grotmus detachment, I think are extremely good places. Very few things that dome that unit when you're hunting and playing into a thick meta. People just like those things. Those units just laugh at melter guns and las cannon equivalents.
Yeah.
So I'm of the opinion that they're in a fantastic place.
For sure, absolutely. I
and
think,
very
and
overlooked.
again, in 5-man, that little condensed, little juicy meta is where they really shine. You can taste the flavor, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Taste the flavors indeed. 27 freaking Death Guards. Surprises to absolutely no one. Chaos Demons having a better percentile here. Sorry, no, Chaos Knights having a better percentile here. Closer to their Imperial Knights counterpart, but Imperial Knights still 12 more players in representation. Once again, could be hobby lag, could be the fact that like in teams, if I was going to take one knight, it would be Imperial Knights, unfortunately, at this stage.
Yeah.
Just because they have a much more even a matrix, and they play into their bad matchups are much better than Chaos Knights. Essentially, Chaos Knights are,
it can be just preference sometimes too. Like the one team we didn't mention at the in the last event that didn't take Imperial Knights did take Chaos Knights, so they still had a knight player.
Yeah, correct. Now, the one team I've decided to pull out for our breakdown, just to show that this is a very interesting, very
it's not
thick...
I fake every phantasm.
No, it's not, unfortunately. I pulled out the Moo Crew.
Ooh, that's like a runner-up. That's a runner-up.
Graduates from Bovine University.
That is a runner-up. I
got a Simpsons quote in there as well. But they have their 5-pack being Tau Empire Callion, Leagues of Votan Oathband, Adeptus Astartes Ultramarines Gladius, Imperial Knights Noble Lance, and Death Guard Virulent Vectorum. So they have skewed hordes almost entirely, but they are taking a huge amount of defensiveness and DACA. Because, of course, the Adeptus Astartes Ultramarines Gladius Task Force, we know that is, ballistas and vindicators, things like that. It's usually much more of a shooting package with counter assault than it is a merely pressure build. Callion is on the rise. I believe Tau is no longer being overlooked and starting to be taken in quite prevalence, just because they have pretty good night matchups and not bad Astartes matchups as well. Leagues of Votan, I think, is probably the preeminent gun line in the game at the moment, just because they have a little bit better profiles into the meta than some of their contemporaries. And also when big stompies are, one of the archetypes that is leading the way, just having all your big knights start with double oath tokens is just freaking terrifying. And then they have the Imperial Knights, of course, because they're going to pack their own big guys, and the Death Guard. So I actually really like this 5-pack because it's all DACA-centric with a bit of flex, which with upside. So no matter what, one, if not two, sometimes three of their gun lines are going to be slamming.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I think Leagues of Votan is actually, I'm not going to say it's underrated. I think it's underutilized, at least in North America. In North America,
correct. In Europe, everyone knows
and fears, which they should, because it is
correct.
Probably the most consistent army right now, just across the board. It really is.
And yes, KR, that is Brandon, who won Adepticon this year, I believe, playing the Tau.
Woo.
So yeah, hence I really wanted to have a look at this list and what's cooking there. But yeah, I mean, as a first defender, pick your poison. Yeah. Any of these could be a first defender without issue. Or if they've got amazing counter melee pressure lists, and you're worried about them, Death Guard go up first. Try to take one of those out of the pool. If essentially, like with the flexibility here, the only fear I have for this is that everyone's fighting for a light table. They have a bunch of armies fighting for a light table. But obviously, you want to prioritize the Tau and the Votan, because the Knights function on a medium, no problems. Death Guard doesn't care. And the Astartes is quite flexible as well, especially with like Dev Doctrine getting you assault, once per game, getting you into the firing lanes on demand. So I see it as they want you to think it's Tau or Votan, but I got a feeling this is another one where Death Guard's just a fantastic first put up.
Death Guard just always is. I think the problem with Death Guard being such a good first put up is that everybody knows they are.
Well, that's the thing, though. Who can do something about it is the question. I can't wait to see who cracks it first.
I want to see who cracks the code. I need to see who cracks the code, because if you have two lists in your match or your team comp that 20-0 Death Guard, like 6 times out of 10.
That's the thing. There's that army doesn't quite exist. No. The best you're hoping for is a 15. Like that army doesn't. The thing that's fine against Death Guard. Yeah, the thing that 20's Death Guard, I don't think exists, or doesn't exist in a duplicate. because I believe, like, theoretically in my head, I think Hosts of Ascension can go above a 15 versus them if you have like a best in the world freaking player on it. But then what's the second? Because all you're doing is just they're picking the one that's not that. That's not that obviously incredible GSC player.
You have a Host of Ascension here, and then the secret tech that nobody knows about that you're ready to kill Death Guard with.
Correct. And that's what I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see somebody with that secret tech to crack the
I know what it is.
Incredible walnut.
I know what it is.
Go on. Go on.
Say it. I can say
well,
it
that's just why mention it then, Dustin?
I can say it next week. I can say
why tickle us under the chin like this?
Because you like it. I just like to be a tease. I could say it next week.
Because WTC list sub is this weekend. Yeah. Fair. But yeah, I'm waiting to see the meta. Who has the tech to stop the Death Guard first turn defend, like round one defender? Who has the tech? Because it must exist. The game is so deep at the moment. It's got to be out there. The other one for me, I was looking at. I'm like, so where's our second? What's the second best horde army in the game? That's what I'm trying to find. And what's the second best horde army in the game?
Groot.
Yeah. Oh, is you actually giving it up now?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's Groot. Or am I giving it up?
Oh, is he? He's going to tell me as soon as we go off the air, by the way. I'm going to squeeze it out of his big old brain. But anyway, time to pick the winners again. Of course, Paul is defaulting to Blood Angels. Unless you think we should be fair to him and defaulting to Astartes.
What's the Blood Angel number? Blood Angels are enforced. They're at the highest number.
Yeah, they're not a bad count, but it is a teams event. I get to pick 31. One of us gets to pick 31 Imperial Knights. Let's be nice to him. We'll go Astartes.
Okay.
Overall,
if Blood Angels wins, though.
He gets yeah. No, I mean all of Astartes. So
all of Astartes. Oh, okay.
You can just pick a because there's only one per army. There's one per team. So
sure.
I'm picking next
year.
We
need to give him the advantage with him being 2 months ahead of both of us.
Actually, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
What are you doing?
Don't give him. Why do that for Paul?
Why are you giving him that? Don't give him that.
No, he gets nothing. What would you like, mate? I picked Imperial Knights.
Of course you did.
Death Guard.
I mean that's Death Guard.
For the fact of the matter that I think 3 of like the 4 best GSC players that I know of in North America are playing in the 8-mans. So I would tell you likely don't pick GSC.
No. That one I was already I was picking GSC at that one or not at all.
Yeah, correct. All right, that brings us to the end of the meat and potatoes and the ATC breakdown. The American Team Championship expose is at an end. It is very, very interesting, and I cannot wait to see what North America has moving and shaken out there because they have some extremely strong players in the field, and this is always one of those fantastic events. And the fact that it is like on the weekend of WTC list sub makes it even more spicy to see if anybody's got any new crazy tech on the horizon, or if they don't, or they're holding it back. Because that is also another thing as well. There's no need to show all your cards quite this close to the finish line,
Absolutely. But we don't want to go too far into it, but because their lists are going to go live on Sunday.
No, list sub is Sunday, and
list
will go live.
Sunday,
I believe. Right. Yeah, I believe they're going to do some background checks on the list, and then they should be released sometime next week.
Yeah, next
week. When they do,
that's the lib sub. So at this point, you don't want to show it. In fact, you might even try to throw people off with some of the things you're showing.
Absolutely. I mean, psyops, maybe. Psyops.
Psyops is a big thing, man. It's all about psyops.
But it is Fuego time, my man. And if people don't know, we've gone through the greatest films of all time, and right now we're doing the greatest video games of all time. With Paul not here, we've decided to choose one that both Dustin and I have a lot of strength on, and we know a lot. But we might not go to 16 because we might leave a few for Paul to have his say and fill in as well. But definitely, we will be leaning on you guys for some choices also. So, which one are we doing today, mate?
We are going to be doing the real-time strategy game. So this is kind of in the wheelhouse of Warhammer 40K, just not the turn-based quite yet, but this is, I think a lot of us got started in some RTSs before we get into Warhammer, right?
Yes. Now, the interesting thing about this is that most of the best RTS games in the world that I know of all time are usually franchises.
Yeah.
Like things like Age of Empires, Heroes of Might and Magic, Warcraft,
Heroes
Total
of Might
War.
and Magic is turn-based.
Oh, true. Sorry, apologies. It is indeed.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this a little more interestingly because we're going to be able to have, like we did with the JRPGs, we're going to be able to have multiples in there. But where should we kick this one off?
I'm starting it off with StarCraft, man.
I think StarCraft 1 and 2 both have to make it as well. Now, the only
That's fair.
question is whether Warcraft gets in also.
Warcraft, I think
It'd
we
be-
have to put it in.
I think it'd
3?
have to be Warcraft 3. Yeah.
No.
No, yeah, I believe it's Warcraft 3.
Is it? It's got to be Warcraft 2. 3 was...
So the reason I say Warcraft 3 is because it spawned other genres.
Sure.
It
I mean,
created,
I guess
it created
we
tower defense.
we
It
can't.
created Dota
MOBAs.
and MOBAs came from that game.
Like,
so if you cannot say that isn't one of the most impactful
Yeah.
games of all
Well,
time.
okay. Well, I'm not gonna say it's not the most impactful, but it's not as good.
Well, when else? Name one other game. Name one other game that spawned 2 whole other gaming genres.
Well, you can't, obviously.
Exactly.
I think it's more than 2.
Yeah, exactly. So
But
therefore, I think
sure.
this has to make it for its sheer impact.
Sheer impact
on the
alone.
world of
We can't put 2 in there because it's too much like StarCraft, to be honest.
Exactly.
Warcraft
right.
3 was a little bit of a beast on its own. Okay. All right.
And dude, StarCraft 1 invented esports pretty much.
Yeah.
Virtually invented esports. And the reason StarCraft 2 makes it is because, on the opinion, it's probably the best RTS ever made of a pure RTS game.
Which one?
StarCraft 2.
Okay.
Is likely the
I thought you were referring to Warcraft 3 for a second. I was going to punch you in the face. All right. I'm glad.
No.
Okay, good.
Warcraft 3, the reason Warcraft 3 is so good is because the campaign was freaking spectacular and it spawned other genres.
It did. Okay. That's fair. I'm putting Age of Empires in here, and specifically Age of Empires 2. Because
correct.
Right?
That is correct.
That is
I'm not sure any other Age of Empires make the cut, though. Age of Empires 2 was spectacular.
Age of Empires 1 was still...
It was good. It was good.
3, no. 4, I haven't given enough of a chance yet. I'm just too much of an AoE 2 nut. Like, I still play it. I literally played it last night online.
Of course, Dawn of War's making it in.
Yes, Dawn of War, for sure.
The original.
The original, all expansions.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The 99...
The 9900 expansions.
Let's all just be happy that game came out before DLCs, because otherwise the thing would just have kept going.
Oh, man. Dawn of War 1 for sure. Dawn of War 2 was okay once you got into it. 3 was hot garbage.
The hottest
garbage. Oh, they're doing a remake of Dawn of War, like the definitive edition now, which
they did. Yeah,
remastered. They're doing it right now. I don't think it's launched yet.
So what do we got? We got StarCraft 1 and 2, and we got Warcraft 3,
Age of Empires 2,
Age of Empires,
Dawn of War, Command and Conquer.
100%. Red Alert, or we doing Tiberian Sun, or what are we doing?
I think Tiberian's like number 3. Tiberian Sun.
Tiberian Sun. Yeah. I agree with that.
3.
I would have thrown out the potential. We'll see how many slots we've got left.
And he pauses right at that
I think
moment.
Red Alert
you
might
just
get
lagged
in
there.
as well.
You lagged as you were. I'm going to throw out.
No. I'm throwing out the possibility that Red Alert makes the cut as well towards the end of this.
That's fair.
But we will see. We'll fill it up enough.
Total War is turn-based, KR. We're going to have that in the turn-based category because it's mostly campaign turn-based. Well, all the fights.
I agree with that.
I think
so
but I think
my
it doesn't fit with these ones.
My favorite RTS of all time is Total Annihilation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my absolute tippy top favorite RTS, and that needs to go in there.
Do we include Dune 2? Because again, that's kind of it's in the same category as a Command and Conquer, but I think it's spawned Command and Conquer.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, go for it. Chuck in Dune 2. I think I can live with that.
Yeah, Dune 2. Got some other good ones too. I'm just trying to. I don't want to forget the really big ones before I go into the more obscure ones.
one of the more recent ones, Iron Harvest, was quite good. Iron Harvest 1920. I was quite a fan of.
Really, I never actually played that one.
It's pretty good. Yeah,
I don't think. Let me look at this.
It's quite good.
Iron Harvest. Oh, that reminds me. Company Heroes. That's one of them. Company Heroes.
Yeah. Good call. Good call.
That one's pretty solid. Company
Heroes. Was Lord of the Rings game that was an RTS that was quite good.
Oh, Battle for Middle Earth.
That's it. That
game was phenomenal.
1 or 2?
2.
All right, sweet. Yep, I'm down with that. I wouldn't have minded either. I don't remember much of 1, so I was going to be like, if you said number 1 was better, I would have just gone with you.
But 2 is better. It's got a lot more options in it. But that game, I'm so sad that they don't really support it anymore. That game is so good.
One from early 2000s, Rise of Nations. It's quite a good time.
Yeah, Rise of Nations. Yeah, put that one in there too. I know I'm missing one because I played so many real-time strategy games.
Yeah, me too. It was one of my favorite genres, and I went all nuts upon it.
Not
We
Sins
got
of
any
a Solar
shout outs?
Empire. Sins of a Solar Empire.
Yeah, sick.
That one, that's fantastic.
We got any shout outs in chat?
AoE 2,
Supreme
yeah, God of War.
Commander.
Supreme Commander.
I don't know it. Yes, John. John just said Total Annihilation as well. What a
There we
freaking
go.
amazing game it was.
Age of Mythology. I still actually like Age of Mythology as well.
Chuck it up. Chuck it up
Yeah.
there. I remember it.
Well, it's Age of Empires, but it's different.
Yeah, different.
And it's different. I'm okay with that one.
Where are we up to numbers wise? Because I feel like we could go to
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wow. We only need two more.
We're gonna stop. We're gonna stop. Actually, we're gonna pump the brakes. We're gonna pump the brakes on this. Leave a couple for Paul and our Discord to fill in the last two. And
wow, we just trying to think of other ones.
Told you. Wasn't gonna be a struggle.
Populous. Worms, I think, is what is Worms?
Is that RTS?
Actually?
I would have as a platformer.
Platformer? If anything, I would call it turn-based because it is turn-based. That's turn-based.
Oh, it is too. So I'm thinking of Lemmings for some reason.
Lemmings. Populous is actually that's an RTS. That wasn't bad.
But
that wasn't bad.
On that note, I think we just wrap it up, brother.
I guess we have to. Yeah, we gotta let those two out. SimCity. That's simulation. That's simulation. That's another.
It's in the Sims. It's in the name, brother.
It's in the name. Yeah. Okay. No, that's a different category. But yes, good call out. Okay, we'll stop it here because we need to leave 2 for Paul.
We do.
Or if chat.
And all the Sim games, the name it's in the name right there. Simulation.
Sim.
It's right there. Yeah. And on that note, we are out of here. Hopefully, guys, anybody attending the ATC, good luck to you all. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you again next freaking week, mate.
Until next time. See ya.
Take care, guys.